How to exit the matrix. Many people have had the taste of what the joy and peace of 5D is like, and have had one foot in 5D while holding the other in 3D. However, some may find themselves being drawn back to 3D for a short period of time. Why on earth would you ever want to re-enter the matrix after having a taste of the good life? If you have been struggling outside of the matrix, this may be one of the most important articles you can read right now. We are all doing the best we can in this tumultuous time of change that has long been foretold of, while watching so many people fall into dire straits. We continue to do our work on ourselves and try to act by the golden rule. If you are like me, you have recently realized that you have had to fling yourself back into the matrix for a short period of time in order to tie up some loose ends. The trick to navigating this life is to use the matrix for what you need it for while striving towards a complete dissolution of what is not serving humanity. If this happened to you, I'm here to assure you that you have had not regressed yourself out of ascension. Walking back in 3D feels like crawling through thick black sludge. After it is all said and done, it is actually a great step toward progression. Some people have found themselves struggling to exist outside of the matrix, which is ironic because if you are suffering, then it makes it hard to reach the 50D energies. For me, all this is nonsense. We can, but it's all through what I say is something ephemeral, something like fantasy, you see. It's not very simple because it is not up for us to decide that, unless we all as a collective mass and a collective beings fight together to gain our sovereignty in this planet. However, until then, it's not easy. No such thing as ascension. To ascend is to get informed about things that you did not know. Ascension means to upgrade yourself, constantly wise, gain more wisdom, and and get more in higher frequencies, like no more, and get away from fears. That is what the ascension is all about. Not that you're gonna change this body straight away in one go, right here now, within while still remain in this earth. No such thing. 4D energy is more like something like fantasia. Is something like you are imagining, you are dreaming. Since like a dreaming, then you keep on flip timelines, not like you go up and down to the ladder of wisdom, and you go up to 5D, and then you go back again to the ladder, to the half of the ladder, and in attitudes and in frequencies, and then you go back to square one again. You just jump timelines as once told in the previous video. That's what about, it's what changing frequency is all about. It's about changing perceptions, and just like for some it's just like you are into, see, for some they will say that you are imagining things, that you are on drugs even, or you are drunk, you see. But it's all a matter of perspective about how you choose to view things, and how lucky are you to gain opportunities to live by yourself and have time for yourselves, and just be what you want to be, and then try to get away from this 3D matrix as much as you can. And those people who are away from the urban the metropolitan way of life, is more like to have timelines jumping, like they are here in the body, but their mind is somewhere else. They are not exactly here, and that's how people try to escape this reality, 3D reality. There seems to be a prompting at this time on a subconscious level to take care of the things that we have not wanted to face or have been putting off, hoping for a great change to happen outside in the real world. But that's not the real world, neither is the dream world is real. Nothing is real, really real. Neither are dreams real. Lately, I have talked to people that had been trapped or undecided about certain monetary or life decisions because of the prophesied ascension future. Have you kept your money out of the bank because of the discussions about the financial collapse? Have you decided not to file tax returns because you know there is no law required? Really? Don't fall for it, please. It's all a psyop. I don't know what to say. There's no such thing. Governments always revive themselves, and they will never forget, and they'll just go after you. Maybe you hope the property taxes will just go away. Have you put off selling a house because your retirement investment is better off in real estate than in the bank? By making one of many of these choices, we can become limited in the way that we can move through the maze of the matrix. In fact, it can actually drag us down into depression or hardship if we refuse to walk in the matrix or use the monetary system. While it is admirable for those who want to live off of the grid and grow their own food, that's the best choice. The reality for most people is that in order to focus on their spiritual growth, they require organic grocery stores, air conditioning, and modern day conveniences like hot running water and dishwashers. Well, what air conditioning in this house has to do with anything? Just live simple in the rural areas. Just live with the earth, what the earth can produce to you. Plenty roots, plenty orchard of fruits. Just live by the land. If you can, of course, just to feel lucky one, because not everybody do have this luck to live in the rural areas. For one example, if you have all of your money under your mattress instead of in the bank, it may be hard to rent a house or apartment to put a roof over your head, because the system is set up to make sure you have either proof of income or enough funds in the bank to cover your lease. If you don't already own a house and you don't have proof of income, it becomes extremely hard to provide a roof over your head for you or your family. And these things as well. If you have a house that has been weighing you down, or you have felt like it is time for a change of cities, you may have worked yourself into a problem. You may have to put some of your money back into the bank in order to use the system. Purchase something on the internet, right? And other things, you still need the damn bank system without being in fear of your government stealing your money. It's my opinion that certainly acceptable at this time to have a portion of your funds in a bank account tied to outpaying your bills. If using an automated systems take your mind off of the matrix long enough to enjoy the now moment, it's well worth it. After all, if the system crashes, we will all be screwed together for a short period of time. Another example is the notion that we should all revert to living like survivormen. And there's also the danger if you in some country where they often change currencies and you put your money at the home, you risk devalue your currency. Means if the system change the currency, you're gonna lose everything. Many people have happened, especially in countries where the political arena is not stable, where the economic condition also is not stable. They often change currencies, and then you're gonna have problem. You're gonna lose all your money if it's not tied up to the bank system. It happened many people in Brazil where they have lost their money because there's no more value when they keep their money at home and suddenly the currency changes, and they can't go back to make exchanges for the new currency, and then they lose everything. And there's a lot of money. There has been people have lost a lot of money. So another example is the notion that we should all revert to living like survivor woman as a human on earth in the year 2017. We all deserve abundance and convenience if we choose it. After all, many of the eyes are used to replicate us in our fancy spaceships. You can certainly make the choice to do the best you can with the world we live in. Things haven't changed overnight, because the change is gradual. Is sequential, step by step. It's not something like a tsunami, a mega tsunami everywhere that's gonna wipe all up. Nothing like this will ever happen. Things haven't changed overnight, and for the time being, you can only do what makes you the happiest, so that you can focus on your responsibilities and life purpose. If you have been feeling pressured to move off the grid and revert to living in the 18th centuries, you can take a deep breath and live with what feels right to you and what will make you most comfortable while being as environmentally and socially responsible as possible without suffering. What I have decided is that I did not come here to starve to death in case of the trucks not delivering to the grocery stores. But I also did not come here to become a farmer. Personally, I have decided that if there is a permanent break in the food chain, I will be done with my life here on this planet and will return to whence I came. With this being said, I do have a month's worth of survival food to keep me comfortable or to barter with. Past that, I will decide whether or not to continue. My point is that do not plan for the future out of fear. I began prepping in 2012 and have thrown away hundreds of dollars of expired foods I kept for survival. See? All this hysteria and stupidity, I knew nothing would happen would ever happen. All this hysteria in how they call it, something like it's just people overreacting. While it may seem like you are going against the rules of where your attention goes, energy flows, lowering yourself back down into the matrix in order to provide for your basic needs or to clear up hauntings of the past will actually propel further into your highest probable future timeline. Humans are unpredictable, so how with something happens, something of mass proportion in humans is unpredictable, it's always ever changing. It really does help you to be in the now moment, not tied down to the past or worried about the future. Because everything that ever existed and will ever exist is now. Even if it is not now, it's no. If it's now, if it isn't now here, it's nowhere. If you can separate this word nowhere, you can see that it's now here or nowhere. When it is nowhere, it's now here. Even if it's still within the matrix, we are here to shift 3D from the lowest part of the base upward. And in order to do that, we needed to know what it felt like to be free for a while. Now, with a higher consciousness and more patience, we are able to tackle the things that we have put off that deal with househoods, legalities, and finance. This includes going through your material items and lightening your load. Give them to charity to be repurposed to throw some things away. Yes, it is okay to contribute to the landfill one last time. I don't think so. You are going to change the way you buy material items in the future to where you are not so careless, to where you will never contribute to the trash like you did before. Selling a house or moving to a new city. You may have been one who put off leasing your house for fear of what the market will do. Or perhaps you didn't want to take a loss and thought you'd wait for the markets to go back up. If this is weighing you down tremendously, it's best to free yourself of it now and live for today, not for the future. Also, don't live for someone else's needs or material attachments. Oh, really? Not even your children? Changing jobs and your elderly parents, changing jobs, even if it is taking a job in a metric industry. As long as you not harm the planet or others, there are ways to remove the negative energy psychologically tied to money or particularly industry, as well as ways to bring light into the industry by immersing yourself into it. At the current time, we use money as our exchange method, and we can focus on winning ourselves to something else, but we still have to eat and have a roof over our heads in order to positively contribute to the collective consciousness. If you do not have a job and you are unhappy, or if you have a job and you don't like it, it's up to you to do something about it. If you need to temporarily take a job inside of the matrix system, do not feel guilt or unsuccessfully spiritually. More than likely, it will only be a temporary means of support that will open the door to something better. The key is to be happy in what you do for an energy exchange. Taking breaks from relationships so each person can work on themselves or some of these issues mentioned or start a new relationship. People change, vibrations change. Sometimes we need some time alone or a change of pace in order to make a relationship flourish again. Some people are releasing one relationship which opens the door for a better match. The legalities of divorce are horrible, but once it's all over with it's very freeing, and you realize how marriage was one big legal control to begin with. 100%, 500% sure. You learn to make different choices in the future that allow for growth between two people, unless that two persons is real a soulmate and has uh, similar ideas, similar energies, and they do respect each other and share with each other everything, loads and works and everything else. Finish up multiple projects in order to focus on one or two instead of too many. Who has at least a million of things to do? Now is the time to prioritize the ones that you have been dreading so that you can give your time to those that really help you move towards a better future. Taking a rest from the alternative media overload. It's very likely at this time that many people are on brain overload and just need to stop listening to everything and go inside for deep communion with the higher self. Take a few days off of the internet, or maybe even a week break of not thinking about anything metaphysical, truth seeking, or spiritual at all. Yes, you read that right. Try it, see how it makes you feel. That's true, because when you think about one thing too many times, you go get paranoid. Just like the mass study of 2012 that never took place. Try, see how it makes you feel. Go camping, go to nature, or immerse yourself in a 3D movie, a comedy, love story, or something light-hearted. And go ahead and cry if you feel like it. Open land that all comes from the one infinite source. Realize you need to stop invocating protection and substitution for owning the light and darkness within you. This I do. I never invoke anything to protect me or help me other than my own true self and my divine being. Transmutation versus avoidance right now is the key. Face your darkest fears and see how liberating it leaves you. Saying that you need protection shows that you are not standing in your sovereignty as a co-creator of this reality, and it makes you a dumb fool because you are still pretty much dependent on other created realities and created beings. It makes you a very meek and a subversive person. The best thing is to rely on your own divine selves. Join in 3D communion with the sleep ones in order to share your vibration. This means no longer being a hermit for fear of others bringing you down. You've had it long enough to prepare yourself, and now your light and vibration is needed. You are the boots on the ground. Eating ice cream every now and then, or your favorite treat. Yeah, that's good, cool. In moderation and organic if possible. It won't kill you, as there are many others worse things on the planet designed for killing humanity. We are also here to live as a human being and to enjoy the experience what this lifetime has to experience. Exactly. We are here to experience and not to learn. Sometimes we have to just throw out the rules for a moment and we live like a kid again, or an animal. How about a dog or a cat? So that you're gonna learn a lot through them, because they are our teachers of patience, of steadfastness, of forgiveness and love. Sometimes, this may be seen as the final return into the 3D matrix in order to prepare for your new role after the long-awaited event occurs. Everyone wants to know what the event is and when it will occur. In my opinion, it will happen when we make it happen. When we become more assertive and stop being too unpredictable. Once you become more predictable, it may happen. But until then, since it's impossible because not everybody is in the same frequency of thoughts, not everybody is thinking the same wavelength, it will never happen. Because in order for something to happen, the whole planet, the whole universe has to have the same mindset, and that's why it is hurrying up to make everybody think the same way, spread fears. This will happen when we do all of the rest of the work necessarily in our lives to free us up for being able to do a new job. In other words, how many of you could pick up and relocate on a moment's notice in order to serve? Not many. Unfortunately, not many. That may be a little drastic as an example, but the point is that many people have so many traits drag them down that it has just become too overwhelming to begin to work on it, and they have been waiting for a miracle to occur in order to free them. Unfortunately, yes, miracles are real, but they can't occur if we are blocking them. Yeah. Also remember, not everything in the matrix is out to get you. Taking care of your past commitments allows you to be more focused on your now, which will open portals for higher levels of connection. Now is the time to take care of your responsibilities. While it may take some blood, sweat, and tears, now you'll feel much lighter in the end, and you will be ready for anything the universe calls you to do. Many of us have no idea what we are really clearing on a multi-dimensional level when we roll up our sleeves and get to work in our 3D illusion. And that's the best feeling. If you are one who is not suffering outside of the matrix, then I encourage you to keep on shining. For those who have to dig deeper and darker, know that it's okay. To open the 3D closet to revisit your skeletons for good. Let's hope this is the last return, and collectively, if we all take care of our responsibilities once and for all, we can continue to move forward at a faster pace. That's true.